Okay, so this episode, we get new transformations, which as I said, I was a big fan of Lila's transformation, the Lady of the Lake, with our main character, Saray. I loved his transformation. I was a big fan of the design. Now, seeing two different transformations in this episode, my inner fanboy when it comes to character designs and stuff is just leaking out. I loved the design of Edna and Saray's transformation. So badass. It was so freaking badass. But then I did not expect to see that transformation when he actually used Mikleo and he turned into like a different entire as well. I was like, bro, I love the blue. I just love the freaking blue. Like, I'm a big fan of the red with Lila, but just to see the blue of Mikleo and Saray, that shit looked so badass. That was badass. And one thing that this Tales series has is definitely designs. It's one of the reasons why I like Tales of Zestiria. I love the designs of the characters, and that's one thing Tales games usually do. They have some really cool designs. And seeing the design of the outfit, you know, when Saray's transforming and stuff, that looks so cool. It's something I would love to see in a game. Like, if I'm sitting here playing, like, say, Tales of Zestiria, and I had this transformation or something, it just looks so epic. It looks so freaking epic. That's what I like to see in, like, you know, a game or something. I'm playing, like, an RPG. And so that's badass. I'm a very big fan of the designs we got with these two new forms in this episode. And hopefully we get to see a little bit more. Maybe we get to see more of these abilities that, you know, these different forms have. And hopefully we get to see different forms besides just these two. I'd like to see other ones and stuff. I'd like to see, like, a green version or something, or even a purple. I would love to see those type of versions, if there is. I don't know if there is, but I would like to see something like that. But getting off of that, though, what was this episode about? Well, for one, the main plot of the episode is kind of where there is this dragon once again popping up. And it's not necessarily a mature dragon. It's not a dragon like Edna's brother. It's a dragon that's like a pup. It's a puppy, or a drake. It's a young dragon that is about to transform into an adult dragon, and then that dragon will not be able to be purified, at the very least for now, as we know of. Now, we know one of the big goals right now that Saray is trying to do, he's trying to help out Edna and purify her brother and bring her brother back, and allow him to gain his sanity once more. So, on his journey, that's kind of what he's trying to accomplish. But at this time, though, with all the information we know of, there's no way to save someone that's been turned into a dragon. And so right now you have this person that literally got turned into a dragon, person or whatever, something got turned into a dragon, and this dragon was about to transform into an adult, and so Saray had to handle it before it became even worse. Now here's the thing. About this episode, it brought up a very interesting thing about Saray, and it was about his character, like his entire foundation block as a character, and it was something I didn't expect to see when I sat down and watched this episode, just to see some of the development that Saray got, or this characterization, and it was popped up by Lila. Lila actually mentioned it and was talking about it, and to see how this was displayed made me kind of happy with the series in general, just to see how it was kind of letting us know that Saray at this time, even though he has the qualities to be a shepherd, like he has all the potential, all these different, you know, essential abilities to be a shepherd, he doesn't have that pillar that supports him to make him have a motive or a very strong goal to be a shepherd. For instance, he has no foundation block that holds him up to be a good shepherd or any shepherd at all. He just has the qualities of a shepherd. And Lila was mentioning that he needs to probably find something. He needs to eventually figure out something else, something that he can strive to be, or something he wants to do as a shepherd. And I mean, of course, he's hunting down dragons, he's finding out information, obviously he's going to be helping out Edna's brother, but he needs a clear-cut path. He needs an actual motive. He needs a direction. And that's something I feel like that needs to pop up with this character. And I'm glad Lila was actually mentioning that in this episode, that he needs a little bit more motivation or something else to drive him for he could be an even better shepherd and a person. But getting off of that topic, though, we have it to where in this episode, we get to see once again a town and an entire area driven by bad weather. There's a lot of bad weather in the area, and as we know, it's being caused by a dragon, or a hellion for short. So because of this, you go to where Saray tries to hunt down the source of it and tries to figure out how he can kind of fix this area, which causes a hell of a lot of issues. A town is being afflicted by a sickness, they're not getting better, and if it's not fixed very soon, majority of the town residents are going to die. And you have it to where Alicia has to be there to try to help them, but she realizes she can't, which it's left up to Saray to actually save the day. Now, because of all this, I felt like the fighting sequences and the way it was done, it felt relatively too easy. I mean, obviously, it was a drake, it wasn't a full adult dragon, that's strong, super strong, but still, it felt like the fight ended way too easily. It really did. I mean, it felt like all that fight served, or what the fight served in this episode, was just to showcase Miklio's new ability, and the transformation sequence of Sorey as Miklio. I felt like that's all what the fight was meant for, which I guess that's fine. I mean, that's kind of what the objective of it was, but I was a little bit disappointed with how it wasn't kind of extended a little bit, or, you know, just kind of a little bit longer. Even though I'm not someone that loves a lot of action or whatever, I just felt like it felt rather too fast-paced. I felt like the action was just too quick, especially with a lot of scenes in this episode, especially like the fight with the dogs, with Miklio fighting the dogs and stuff, the Hellions. I just felt like a lot of these different action scenes were way too fast-paced, and when it jumped to the next scene, it just felt very off to me. Personally, it felt very off, but obviously some might think it's completely fine. It just felt off for me in terms of pacing wise, but it was a good episode. So overall, the episode of Tales of Zestiria, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I love seeing the new transformations. I love seeing Miklio actually being able to gain a weapon. He's able to help out Sorey now. We also encounter a new character that was introduced in this episode that apparently is this little spirit that actually can give buffs. Now, here's the question I'm going to ask. This is kind of off topic from the anime, but I want to ask a question. So, I'm going to just go on a limb here and say that the person that was introduced in this episode, the little spirit that helps out Miklio, I'm curious if that is actually a party member in the game, or is that something that's kind of like an attachment to individual characters? Because I've seen a lot of RPGs, and I've played a lot of RPGs, love RPGs, one of my favorite genres of video games. And I'm curious, is that little creature, is that like a party member in the game, or is that something that like you attach onto a character? Like, you know, sometimes you have characters that can have a pet or something, or an attachment. I'm curious if that creature is literally like an attachment to said individual characters, or is that literally, it takes a spot as a party member? Because judging by the way it looks like it's just a buffing type creature, and so if it was a part of the party, it literally, all it does is just buff. All it does is just buff you the entire time, and there's no other point besides that. Which there is good characters that is mainly just for buffing, well, I'm just interested if that's a party member or not. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.